Okay, so I'm going to try and talk about the process. Now, this isn't going to be super polished, but the content is heartfelt, and this is a very rough draft. I'll probably re-record this at some point, but my team and the people around me have heard me talk a lot about trusting the process, and I just want to discuss what it means, how I found my own process, and kind of go over these different things and how it relates to becoming your best self and what its relationship is to sales. So this all started on our last trip to Hawaii as a team. I found myself being the only person not being able to complete a hike that was up. It was in Hawaii. It was a pretty steep hike, and I was just super fat and out of shape, and I felt super unhappy with myself. Before I even made it halfway, I started throwing up, and I was the only one who didn't make it to the top, and I was very disgusted with myself and very disappointed with myself. I haven't felt that way in a long time, and I didn't like it. So I took a long, hard look at myself and my life and realized that I had been living in a comfort zone for a long time, and I decided to do certain things to change it. So I began the process of bettering myself, of getting in better shape, and me finding the process really started there. It started with me being very unsure of myself, not fully sure if I would be able to keep a commitment to myself to lose weight and become healthier. But the way I started it was I put myself in a situation where I couldn't back out. As soon as I got home from Hawaii, I prepaid for 3 months worth of food with a meal prep kitchen place, and I put myself in a position where it hurt enough financially that I wouldn't be able to cheat and afford it. And it was really hard at first. I was really hungry. But I put myself in a position where I couldn't back out. And then when it came to the gym, I knew that an excuse that I would give myself is that I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what exercises to do. So I prepaid for a year of coaching with a men's physique coach. It's not that I'm extremely passionate about wanting to compete in men's physique. I just wanted to take that excuse out. So I burned that bridge and prepaid. All these things were expensive for me, and I definitely felt it financially, but I was willing to put myself in that kind of situation to make the changes that I needed to. So at least at that point, I had removed those excuses, and it was really just a matter of me doing it and putting in the work. So when I first started working out and going to the gym, I started weighing about 257 pounds. When I first began, I couldn't even complete a full workout. I was very disappointed with myself. Now, at that point, I told myself that I would always give 100%, and I did. And I was frustrated because I would compare my 100% to the 100% of people that had been at the gym and been pursuing those goals and for a long time. And I would get frustrated at the difference, not realizing that it's really going to take a while, essentially. So I got to the point where I could complete the workouts. It took me about 2 weeks to be able to fully complete the workouts, but I would feel nauseous. And there's a few times where I would throw up. And then I got to the point where I could go to the gym and not feel nauseous, complete the workouts, and then I would need to sleep for 2 hours afterwards because I was still just super wiped out. Then I got to another level where I could complete the workouts, and I wasn't super exhausted. It didn't wreck the rest of my day, but I was just super hungry, which I feel like is pretty normal. Then I got to the point where I started to grow. Get stronger, and I started adding weight to all my lifts. This was at the point at which I started to see different results. I started to lose weight. Well, I was losing weight this entire time, but it started to become a little bit more noticeable. The point is that this process of bettering myself I never changed my effort level. I was giving 100% the entire time. And what a lot of people fail to realize is that their 100% effort is all it takes. I know that sounds oversimplified and it sounds almost very cliche, but I remember the first time I was on a treadmill and or on an elliptical, the first time I was able to do 45 minutes of cardio without stopping, I realized that I never had to let myself be so out of shape that I couldn't do 45 minutes of cardio ever again. I could always maintain that. I could always do that. And I found happiness in the process of bettering myself a lot sooner than I thought that I would. I realized that it was going to be a permanent part of my life. But essentially, the process of becoming your best self, all it takes is your 100%. And your effort level, although it'll stay the same, things won't necessarily get easier, but you'll get stronger. And when I thought about that, I realized that there was an eternal principle there, one that I could apply to sales. And it was at that point that I realized, and I was also looking at certain peers of mine, people that I know that have sold over 1,000 accounts. And I thought to myself, the best version of me, I thought to myself about the best version of Josh. I envisioned what kind of person that would be, what he would be like, what he would do. And I thought to myself, why not me? Why can't I do it? And I thought to myself that the best version of me would. He could and he would. And I asked myself questions of how would he act? What kind of things would he do? What kind of person would he want to be? And so I came up with a plan. I started doing things to callous my mind, and started waking up at 4:30 every morning, exercising for 2 hours, and then studying for a long time. And having that morning routine really helped me out a lot. But in regards to sales, the biggest difference between me last year or all these other years versus now, this is what the relationship is with the process and sales. The process is, what it simply means is it's the process of bettering yourself, of becoming your best self. And I've learned that it does not happen within your comfort zones. You have to put yourself in a situation that you don't necessarily like. You have to do the things that you don't like. It's not about the number of sales you get in a day. It's about the effort level. Because I've learned and grown to trust myself, knowing that my 100% effort is enough. It's enough to get me started in the direction that I want to go, and ultimately it's enough to get me to where I want to go. When I first got here to OKC, I had a horrible flu, and there was a cold snap. There was a cold snap that happened, and the weather dipped below 32 degrees, and it snowed for the first 2 days that I knocked. After this whole off season of telling myself that I was going to sell over 1,000 accounts and crush these goals that I had, I was scared. I was scared to go out there and fail. I rationalized in my mind that I could very easily just sit inside and wait for those 2 days to be over. But then I recognized, it's about the process of becoming the best version of myself. The best version of myself would not care whether it's raining or whether it's cold outside or really what's going on. He would give his best effort regardless. I learned that it wasn't about the number of sales that I got that day. It was 100% about if I was still going to give 100% of my effort. I ended up selling 2 that first day and then 2 the second day. And it wasn't fun. It was pretty hard, actually. But right now, I'm on pace. I'm averaging about 8-ish per day, and I'm on pace to break the all-time record. And right now I think I'm on pace to hit around 1,600 accounts. But when it comes to the process, the biggest difference in my mind is I'm not looking at the grind as a struggle. I'm looking at it as a challenge. The grind doesn't have to break you down. It can refine you. It can make you a better person. You can use this job as a vehicle to become the best version of yourself. Because as door knockers, we're faced with decisions every single day of whether or not we're going to quit or if we're going to push through. It's not about the number of sales. the sales, as you're becoming the best version of yourself in every aspect of your life, the sales will come. And all I have to say is that becoming your best self, it happens outside of your comfort zone. And as you trust the process, as you trust yourself to give 100%, you'll be amazed, and you'll start to do things that you really only thought in your dreams that you could do. That's pretty much it.